Thank you guys. My name's Edin Madrid. I'm a youth advocate and community organizer with the Anti-Recidivism Coalition. This is like, to me, what I'm doing right now is something that's gonna break my chains of my belief system that I had towards cops. And I think when I hear everybody, we have to understand the belief system of everybody, from the cop side, from the community side, from the gang members, and from the people that are not gang members. Um, my first interaction with cops was when I was very young, but my first interaction went like this. A guy knocked in our door saying, "Open the door, police department, open the door." My mom, an undocumented woman, scared of the cops, opened the doors. Guy comes in with a knife and says, "Shut up, just let me kick it here until the cops leave, we good." I was 7 years old. I'm sitting on the sofa, and the guy sits in the sofa, and my mom grabs my daughters my sisters, and takes them to the bathroom. And I stay in the room with my stepdad, who has tattoos on his hand, and the guy that's breaking in our home. And the cops come in, kick down the door, and they take my stepdad because he had tattoos, and then followed my whole family outside. And I was a kid. We're all like, "Oh shit, what's going on?" Second interaction was a few years later. Same incident. SWAT team came to our door, took everybody out of my house at gunpoint. My little brother was epileptic, and they forced my mom to take him out. This all happened by the age of 11. I wasn't a gang member. My mind was still naive to say, and I grew a sense of hate. And I don't want to use hate, but that's like the only word that I could have thought, that I would have thought of as a kid. And so this became my narrative with the cops, and I went on. I got my jaw broken at 16. And I ended up going to prison, and I spent more time in the custody of officers than I did with my own family. I've only lived with my mom for 9 years, and that's as long as I live with her. And I spent almost 14 years of my life in an institution with nothing but cops. And whether it's a CDCR officer or a police department, I, in my personal opinion, think that they all have the belief system. Like I had my belief system where I didn't like cops. I thought cops were the enemies. That's when my community taught me, because they didn't trust the cops. When I got out of prison, I sweated, my armpits sweated, everything sweated in me when I saw a cop, especially a gang unit. I'm like, wow, are they going to pull me over? Are they going to know I'm on parole? Like, what are they going to do? Because I'm traumatized. And the same goes for cops. I understand that we traumatize them too by our actions, the things we do. Cops get shot at all the time, and it happens. And so there's that conflict. It's us against them. However, to not be long-winded, I had the opportunity to be a clerk in prison for 2 years, where I was stuck. And I'm seeing Officer Montgomery right now. He was in my break group, and I would see a CDC officer pretty much just dressed like Cam and Green all day, sitting in the office with me, just watching. And that's a taboo in prison. Like, you can't talk to cops. Cops are not, they're not the friends. But I was able to speak to him, like, from small little chats, little conversations. I got to find out that we had more in common than we did in our belief systems. Like, he had this belief system that criminals are criminals and they don't belong in our community. We got to get them out. We got to continue, promoting public safety. And my thing was like, the cops are enemies. They're trying to take me to jail. But it wasn't like that. I got that opportunity. And to answer the question, for me, it's lack of communication between both entities and our communities. Our communities are scared of the cops. That's anywhere you go in LA, they're scared of cops. Oakland, all over the world. And now it's being publicized. And it's not going to get better until we understand each other and we have face-to-faces like this. So I can know that Officer Montgomery loves going out there, that he's a big fan of religion. I love God, and it's things like that. And now I see him a little different. Like, all right, he's not just a cop. Or maybe he might see me like, okay, that guy doesn't even look like he carried a rifle and shot at people, when he was 16. People would have known that. And so they would just be like, he's on parole, he's a criminal, and me, he's a cop, not dealing with him. But I think once we communicate and we open that line of communication, we soften a lot of the blows, a lot of the things that go on. So I want to leave that before the shot clock expires. And I ain't got skills like Kobe, so I'm gone.
And Dean, thank you for that. We gave you some extra time because I felt like it was important that everyone had an opportunity to hear what you had to say in terms of your personal experiences. I heard you say I heard some more stereotyping as a problem, but you brought up a big piece, and that's lack of communication. And my definition of communication is we're communicating poorly. So what's being said, how it's being said, or nothing is being said at all. You know, silence is also a form of communication, and that could be dangerous because you leave so much up to interpretation, right? So if anyone wants to comment on anything that Adine said, please feel free, because he laid some pretty rich things on the table for us to digest. And I want to thank you for being so open, honest, and transparent, Adine.